Hello, soul listeners. This is Aura, and this is a twin flame journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the all button to get the latest content right to you. So without further delay, let's get into these channeled messages. So the very first thing that I heard was someone is living a lie. But I was hearing a quote by Confucius that everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. And I almost want to finish that quote, and I almost want to say, not everyone sees it at first. And I feel like I want to change this quote, or I want to change something about it, because even though everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it, it's almost like a perspective can be shifted at any moment. So just because they see it and they don't think of it as beautiful or in a particular way, that doesn't mean that it can't be altered or changed in some way. That in some way, shape, or form, that anything and everything can change at any moment. And of course, we all have free will, but to what extent exactly? To what extent? There's fate, and there's also destiny. Your destiny is how you choose, how you move towards a destination over time, because you have a particular purpose. But fate, this is something predetermined that is also inevitable, a chain of events that happens to you regardless of what you do. And that is completely out of your hands. And perhaps there is a particular outcome in this particular channeled message, in this particular story, of course. There's always an outcome, and there's always the inevitable that is bound to occur. I'm hearing lovers, long-time lovers, and I'm also hearing complete opposites. One of you likes blue, or maybe the other one of you likes pink, or something along those lines. Like it's almost like the two of you sort of fit together. I'm hearing the name Henry for some weird reason for this particular channeled session. Henry. I feel like Henry likes, I feel like he likes to dress in particular clothes. Very well dressed. They take a lot of effort into how they dress, how they look, how they are seen by others. He may wear suits, but I'm picking up a particular energy of someone who likes to dress very well. They dress to impress. Then it's almost like they they put a little bit too much effort into what they wear, because to them it is almost as if I'm not seen in a particular way, if they don't see me in a particular aspect, almost like the quote, everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. If I'm not seen in this particular way, then I'll never be ahead in life. And I feel like that is some type of belief that they have, some type of conditional belief that they've always had. It's almost like they've stuck to that for a very long time, perhaps. They might have other beliefs that are very narrow, very rigid, but I feel like they have ultimately put themselves in that place because they feel like they have a sense of pride. And I feel like the pride has also brought them into a place where love has been almost very difficult for them to allow. And I'm hearing, I don't know why, but I'm hearing Beauty and the Beast now. I don't know if some of you are familiar with that movie, very popular, obviously. Beauty and the Beast. It's almost like they have everything. They have everything that they could ever want, but they just don't have love in their life. And I feel like it has been incredibly lonely for them. I don't feel a karmic partner. I don't feel a third energy here. I do feel like there are some other energies involved here, but it feels more like they have everything that they could ever want. And needless to say, it's almost like their conditioning or the way that they see themselves is also how they have been seeing the world, how they have been seeing others. It feels like I'm hearing a narrow path. We can't go outside of the lines. We can't go off this path, otherwise this will get me into trouble, or there could be consequences. But it feels like a mature energy has stepped in, and I'm seeing the number 6. So maybe somebody was born on the 6th month. But this feels like a very mature energy. I'm also feeling, I feel a very heavy maternal presence here. Possibly a mother who maybe has brought these conditions into the family generations. I feel like someone is very well off, like they have enough to live possibly for the rest of their life. But it's like they have everything that they could ever want, but they just don't have love. So I feel like there is an energy that has stepped into their life at some point that has made them feel inescapable of themselves, almost as if they've turned away from a part of themselves, but they feel like if they look at this aspect of themselves, that it will trap them. It will confine them. They won't be able to escape. But the problem is, the issue is where they are. They already are in some type of prison. They already are. They have put themselves in this prison. But they feel like if they take a risk, or if they take a leap of faith, that it will put them in a prison. But that is not the case. The case is that they have already put themselves in this prison. And they have been struggling to find a key for a very long time. I am hearing the name Mary Beth. So maybe somebody's name is Mary or Mary Beth. I feel like I also feel this very mature energy. Could be very feminine. And I feel like this behavior has also gotten them into some trouble at times. Maybe they have struggled with their health. I'm also seeing the number 1111 just now on the time clock. This behavior has made them struggle with their health. They could have definitely gotten themselves into a little bit of legal trouble. I'm seeing maybe something small like a speeding ticket or something along those lines. But what they have been doing, I'm hearing maybe for the past 10 years, 15 years, it has been very difficult for them to find this place of rejuvenation or soulful rejuvenation. They have been struggling with their health for quite a while. It started, I almost want to say, maybe at a younger age. I almost want to say maybe this started in their 30s. I feel like they could be much older, I feel like they could be very much older. I feel like they could very well, this could have started when they were young, maybe between their 20s to 30s. Okay. But they started on a particular career path, and I feel like it was generational. And I feel a maternal guardian saying, well, this is what my father did, so this is what you are going to do, my son or my daughter. This is what you are going to do, which will prevent our family from experiencing any type of poverty. You cannot marry this kind of person for whatever reason. But I feel like this narrow way of thinking, or this narrow condition, it almost feels like this is the cage that you have been placed in this whole time. And you feel as if you have been told that it's not a cage, but in reality it is. For a very long time too, I feel this sense of just loneliness. Maybe you have been carrying this belief that you will be lonely your entire life. You will not have or find love, true love, or that it even exists. You are someone who is very well respected and looked up to, but the life that you are living no longer feels as if it is fulfilling to you. I mean, you are very successful, and I feel that a lot of possible coworkers, maybe some colleagues that have turned into long-time friendships, it is almost like they have transformed into these individuals that surround you, that look up to you, that they look up to you for inspiration. They look up to you for assistance. And I feel like they have also been gifted to you by the divine to also put you on a particular path. So you have definitely met these individuals possibly during your early stages of career, possibly. I feel like maybe this has been happening in your 30s. It could be happening right now, or it could have already happened, of course. I also feel like the father figure that you had in your life, you also looked up to them. You possibly went to them for advice, but it also feels like they could have been very distant at one point, and it was very hard for you. But something happened here, and your family was very cold and distant towards you. But also, you met someone. You met somebody that you could not forget about. And they were incredibly kind to you. It is almost like they made you feel a type of way. They talk to you about things, they talk to you about the future, or they talk to you about their inspirations, and maybe they gave you a lot of attention. I'm also seeing a lot of communication between the two of you, a lot of possibly messaging one another or writing to one another, and I'm also seeing somebody writing a postcard, possibly, and I almost feel like when they wrote this postcard, they were at some type of possibly summer event, or they could have been somewhere that was just for the summer. It feels like it was some type of, it feels like it was some type of event that they were at. But I feel like there were some complications here. And the complications, I feel like, stem from your past. The both of you have a very similar past, but at the same time, very different. The two of you met each other as well during some type of initiation, or the two of you have met to court one another. I'm hearing this happened for weeks, possibly 4 months. The two of you had been seeing one another. But I also feel like your paths crossed to break away some type of karmic connection. It almost does feel like the other had some type of karmic connection here. Yes. And they possibly had some type of issue with a father, a paternal figure in their life. I feel like this paternal figure in their life brought them many karmic connections. Possibly they could have been very abusive connections. They could have been They could have been very violent as well, is something that I'm hearing. I feel like this has been going on for possibly many years, but the two of you met one another. When the two of you met each other, pardon me, I feel like it shook the both of you. It shook the both of you to your core. But what I feel like the two of you did not understand at the time that the two of you met each other, that this was a gift from the divine. This was some type of gift from the divine. And I'm hearing the two of you talked and talked and talked, maybe until the sun came up as well. I'm seeing someone sitting by a window, talking on the phone, smiling, looking outside, and it's almost as if light is starting to come out. So I feel like this is either in the early morning or possibly early evening. Smiling, laughing. I almost feel like they could have definitely just started a new job. They just started a new job while the other one of you is leaving a career. And I feel like leaving this career devastated you. Devastated you also to your core. Maybe made you feel very vulnerable, very weak, almost as if you did not have a leg to stand on at the time. But I feel like when that happened, you kept telling yourself over and over and over again, I'm not going to look that way. I'm going to look powerful and almost like I'm in control. But I feel like your lesson is that you didn't need to do that. You just needed love in your life. And I'm also feeling that you have really desired to have a family of your own. And it's almost like you have been consciously coded to literally raise a family way different than your own family would have raised you, because the way your family has raised you, it has made you feel like you have been in a cage for many years. And technically, it is almost like you have been. Your counterpart, though, had to come to a realization. They already knew that they met the one, though. They already knew that when they met you, it was as if you are the one for them. But I feel like, I almost want to say, it feels like a home got into the way, or some type of miscommunication of where someone was staying, where someone was for a period of time. That's what this kind of feels like. And I feel like they already knew deeply that they had met the one. But they had a hard time speaking about it. Possibly to the other. I also feel like they were dealing with, I feel like the counterpart here that had been dealing with karmic situations, I feel like they also had a maternal interference. But I don't feel like it was, a bad thing. I feel like they were trying to help them to some degree, possibly. But it created a lot of change in their life. It created a lot of changes in their life. So I would like to get some final messages here, and as I write down some of these final messages, I almost want to say I feel like I'm hearing another quote in my mind's eye. Well, actually, in my head. It feels like the message here, especially, there is beauty in how this unfolds. And just like at the beginning of this channeled session, everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. And I feel like the two of you possibly did not see it at first. But it does not mean that cannot change. It does not mean that they'll never see it. It just means that it's not happening for them right at this present time. Okay. I'm also hearing your destiny awaits. The two of you have a destiny together. And I'm hearing 333. Okay, so this is where I leave you with these messages. I hope that they resonated. Until next time, I'm Aura, and this is A Twin Flame Journey.